Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This is the United Stand, and thanks very much for joining me here on this fine Easter, the start of Easter. It's a Thursday weekend. It's great to see so many of the United Stand ultras in the chat. Obviously, if you want to get a super chat in, as I always say, I do open it up to all kinds of possibilities that whatever you put in there, I have to read. So if you want to go down the lines of Lee Mack on the United Stand and all this, then I have to read it. But we're here for Manchester United news, and there is never any shortage. This evening, coming up, Sam Pilger has come out from Forbes stating that Erik Ten Hag's job at Manchester United is under threat. We'll get into that. Mason Greenwood also involved in a swap deal for a Brazilian centre-back at Juventus. We've got Wes Brown coming out with some comments about a current United player that he would like to see play more. The Southgate links, they will not go away, so that is something that I would like to have my say on. We're going to have a bit of a laid-back one here on the Thursday evening. That's how it works. But great to see you in the chat, so I think we will. Let me just make sure my chat is up and running. It is, and yes, we will get in to the fact that this, I say, well-timed piece has come out. It's International Week. Yeah, it's been a quiet week, especially as far as Manchester United are concerned. But, well, there's never a quiet week, is there? So we get this, what I would say, complete and utter horseshit story. I'm sorry, but it is Thursday night. We're past 8 o'clock. We are well into it. Sam Pilger has come out for Forbes. He is writing this piece on Erik Ten Hag, which is kind of, it sends a question out. Why now? And this is a man that has been very, very negative, never shown Erik Ten Hag any kind of praise. You would look at the fact of the players that Erik Ten Hag has brought into this team. This is Garnacho's proper breakthrough season at Manchester United, and Kobbie Mainoo, the diamond in the rough at Manchester United this season. And this guy has never wrote anything positive in that sense of what Ten Hag, the good things. It's so easy. We live in a negative world, but to be taking the negatives and spinning it, and like I say, I look back and I think this is the weekend, or sorry, on the eve, or coming up, sorry, to the Brentford game. Do we need this? Is it anything that we don't already know? I'm just going to get the story up now, just so I've got me kind of facts. Let's have a look here now. So Ten Hag's position remains under serious threat. So we're throwing the big words in here, serious threat. So Sam Pilger going in, basically. And you would think United's last game, we played the Scousers, Liverpool. So we're fresh on the back of an historic win. And it was historic. You know, you will get knobheads like Jamie Carragher replying to the likes of Rio Ferdinand on social media and saying, you know, more or less, calm down, you know, and you'll get beat by City in the final anyway, and nobody will remember that result. Of course we'll remember it. It'll go down in folklore, that game. It really will. And if you're unfortunate enough to know a Liverpool fan, you know, when that day turns round next year, you send a Liverpool fan a card and you wish them Happy Diallo Day, because that's what it will be remembered as. But Sam Pilger says in this piece, which again has come out this evening, it's the last thing we need. And the thing that gets me is here on the United Stand, you know, you look at the threats and the kind of things that we've had to deal with here because we ask a question. You know, even look at the Marcus Rashford thing, you know, what next? It was a headline that he responded to, or his PR company, whatever it was. People jump on that, and they did jump on it. When in theory, all we were doing were asking questions. Now, Sam Pilger is somebody who, he works for the press, works for Forbes, writes for other outlets, but it's the gutter press. This is such a lazy piece of journalism, and it drives me insane. You know, you should really be directing any anger and questions towards this person because, like I say, people call us negative. What we do is we watch a game of football and we respond, and you get the facts. You know, if we react to a game and somebody's not played well, it's fan opinion. It's no different to a fanzine or whatever, people talking down the pub. we just say it as we see it. But this guy can get away with it because he can. What's he done today? You know, Easter weekend, this story comes out a couple of hours ago, probably sat at his desk. Manager's probably said, you know, have you done that piece? What piece? Just run the Ten Hag thing again. Ten Hag's job's under threat. You know, and it makes me depressed. It makes me depressed that I even have to read this, but we do react to the news here on the United Standard. The one thing you will get is a bit of clarity and the fact that we'll give an honest opinion. But he's saying it is understood he still remains the master of his own destiny. And if he uses the win over Liverpool as a turning point to climb into the Champions League places and win the FA Cup, he would almost certainly retain his job. Now, I would have thought, you know, reading this, he certainly would retain his job because the best possible outcome for Erik Ten Hag at Manchester United this season would be to finish in the top four, or if fifth place gets you Champions League football, so let's just say Champions League football, and to win the FA Cup as well would be absolutely unreal because we haven't played that well all this season, but on the back of last season, 2 finals, made top 4, won a Carabao Cup, to follow that up with Champions League qualifications this season and to win the FA Cup, which you're going to have to either you need to overcome Coventry. You also then potentially have got Chelsea or Man City in the final. So that would be a really, really good end to what has been a difficult season for Manchester United. So to say that he would almost certainly retain his job, does anybody actually think that that would be harsh if he actually managed to do that and did not retain his job at Manchester United? It's absolutely, honestly, the mind boggles. When I'm reading this piece, it just stinks of lazy journalism. And like I said at the United Standard, the amount of times, the abuse that, you know, certain people have took on this channel. And it's easy for people like this just to throw in that classic word, my sources, you know. You get away with anything for that. And even in this piece, you know, sources close to the club, sources this, sources that. You know, who are your sources? Because they will never reveal it. It just gives you basically a free kind of pass to write whatever you want. And you back it up then by saying my sources. What sources, man? You know, are we talking ketchup, mayonnaise? I don't know. But it's very, very lazy journalism. It says, the situation with Ten Hag's position remains fluid, and despite fierce speculation, no final decision has been made about whether he will be at Manchester United next season. So all we're doing here is basically covering every single base, so that this fella Sam Pilger can come out at the end and say, I told you so. It is covering every base. It'd be like at the weekend, you know, Brentford against Manchester United, saying that, you know, Manchester United, I think United will win, but Brentford could win this. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was going to be a draw. You know, at the end of the day, you can just, you're just covering every single angle. He does go on to say in this piece, a further complication is that 2 of the men who will make the decision about Ten Hag's future are not yet inside the building. And we know that is Omar Barada. We know that is Dan Ashworth. Them 2 are currently have the best lawns on the manor because they are on gardening leave, flat out on, you know what I mean, cutting the old grass, the grass. What else do we see in this? I'm obviously trying to cut through it all because there's one thing it's very, very repetitive, you know, the kind of stuff that we have to put up with as Manchester United fans. But at the end of the day, it gets clicks, it sells newspapers, but we have to respond to what is being said. It should be noted that United's new co-owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, has never offered Ten Hag any assurances about his future and is waiting to see how the season finishes. Which again gets me. Because if Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes out and publicly backs Ten Hag now, knobheads like this guy will be writing stuff saying it's the dreaded vote of confidence. And that's exactly what they want. The press are actually trying to push the likes of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Brailsford, into a corner here. They want Ineos to come out and, you know, publicly back Erik Ten Hag, because then they'll see that weakness, that chink in the armour, and they will play off that. You know for a fact, if this evening some kind of statement was put out where it said that Ineos are 100% behind Erik Ten Hag and everything that he's doing at Manchester United, that would be viewed, it would be viewed as the dreaded vote of confidence. And tomorrow's headlines, front page, back page, everywhere on the internet would be Ten Hag, you know, the vote of confidence. It would be, he's a dead man walking, this, that. But this Sam Pilger, you look into a lot of his tweets, and obviously a lot is to do with Manchester United. Again, I get it, you know, biggest club in the world. Some people will argue against that, but there is no doubt that when you drop a story out like this, it will gain traction. And at the risk of repeating myself, that is what we are here for on the United Stand, is to react to this, you know, chew the meat off the bones and get to the bottom of it and see. It says there is some sympathy with the usual large amount of injuries his side have had to contend with this season, with over 50 individual absences during the campaign, which Ten Hag has highlighted as having disrupted United's momentum. You know, and he's almost saying this is Ten Hag's excuse, which I think any Manchester United fan can see that this has been a huge headache for Erik Ten Hag. And it's the reason that we look at not the coaching department, the medical department, and we think surely it needs a total overhaul. In comparison to other teams at the top of the league, the likes of Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal, whoever it is, they do not get anywhere near the number of injuries that we are getting. And some people will subscribe to the fact that the players aren't fit enough. Maybe it's the change of managers, you know, different managers asking them to do different things. But at the end of the day, I just think that personally that the players haven't been coached properly under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think they've had a bit of a free rein, and they don't like it when they're getting a proper manager in who will, on the back of a defeat on a Sunday, have them out on a Monday morning, running round the field. Run round the field. Rubbish impression of Erik Ten Hag, that. But you get the gist of it, you know what I mean? It's you have to, you do the crime, you do the time. So if you're not going to put it in on a Saturday or a Sunday, then you have to pay for that in training. You have to book up your ideas. It's no different to any sort of walk of life. Even if you're in a job, you know, if you're doing really crap at it or whatever, you will be disciplined, and that's how it should be. Let's just see. So now we'll play on the negative side of this piece again, even though there's no positives to take out of it, saying United have already lost a staggering 11 Premier League games. Fair enough, yeah, not good enough this season, and find themselves 6th in the table, 9 points behind Aston Villa in 4th place. But there is still a chance, and we know there's games to play, plenty of points to play for. So Manchester United could finish the season well. Even when they won, United's actual performance has often been poor, which I can't disagree with. There has been games this season where I think we've even won games where, on reflection of a full 90 minutes, we haven't actually played well. We've scored just 39 in 28 Premier League games and currently have barely believable goal difference of 0, which again, it's playing on the negativity. Ineos ultimately want to see more evidence. The confident and successful Ten Hag from his season is still there and can make a comeback. I'm just going to delve very quickly into the chat. There's loads of people in here. It's going absolutely mental. Let me know what you make of this. I mean, from my point of view, I'm sick to death of it, especially this individual that's wrote the piece seems to be almost making a living off the fact or the negativity of Manchester United, but in particular, Erik Ten Hag. People talk about agendas on the United Stand. You know, for me personally, I don't see them as agendas, but this is clearly an agenda. This is somebody who cannot write a positive piece about Erik Ten Hag. Like I said, we don't hear about Garnacho being nurtured into this team. We don't hear the good things that Kobbie Mainoo's done, the fact that Erik Ten Hag has showed so much faith into bringing him into this team. Could have signed another midfielder when he was injured in the summer, but waited, obviously knew that he was going to be a pivotal part of his plans for the future, which he's absolutely taken his chance. We will talk about Kobbie Mainoo in a bit, because I want to say it's been an absolute fantastic week for him, obviously with the international call-up, man of the match performance. But let's see what the United Stand community are saying. We have got super chats galore here. Let's try and get through them. First of all, Gavin Mikio. Welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Welcome aboard, Sunshine. Welcome to the Madhouse. Mojo says, in the last 14 days, we have gone from Ineos looking for Erik Ten Hag replacement to beating Liverpool to 4 or 5 players coming back from injury to Mainoo and Garnacho making their international debut to Erik Ten Hag is under threat again. Life has come full circle for Man United fans. And it is, listen, it's a Thursday night show. I was told, you know, just go out there, you know, I do like to have good old fun here on the Thursday night. I like to make it, you know, upbeat, but we had to start with that story, because if anything, let's brush aside the negativity, you know, and then we can have the crack, as they say in Ireland. Nigel, Super Chat, thank you very much, says, imagine if we were slapped by Liverpool, the media would come armed with pitchforks for Ten Hag's head. And that's a great point, Nigel, because there is no doubt that when Liverpool were leading 3-2 in extra time, they would have already been in Old Trafford. The vultures would have been circling around Old Trafford, and the press would have probably already been penning, this is the end of the road for Ten Hag. Little did they know that United were going to do, you know, forget the Ghostbusters, it was Scousebusters. And like I said, it will always be remembered as Diallo Day. I'm telling you, man, even Jamie Carragher, if you're watching, forget that nonsense that it was, you know, it won't mean anything. This game will be talked, or that game, it will go down in folklore, and it will always be remembered, even if we don't win the FA Cup this season, which obviously I hope we do. But if we don't, it will always be remembered. We'll have it up there, and the feeling of that goal when Diallo scored, you know, there's no better feeling to win a game in the last seconds of a match like that and knock out your biggest, fiercest rivals. Yeah, have some of that, Jamie Carragher. Calm down. MUFC Realist TV, how are you, sir? Says, what's next, Kev? Cafe in reception forgot to serve tea. And Cookieson's Ten Hag's fault headline. I hope you're well. Yeah, it is very, very true. Manchester United will make headlines on anything, but hope you are well, mate. Wayne Finnegan, a member for 44 months. That must be a new record. Says, yes, Kev, you're legend. Oh, went a bit high then. Says, we have some big players coming back, i.e. Martinez, Casemiro, etc. FA Cup incoming. Fire emoji. Says, I am 100% sure Ten Hag's job is safe. I think it is safe. I really, really do. And I think Manchester United will wait, bare minimum, to see what Manchester United can do this season. Why would you go and pull the plug now? I really don't get that. I think it would be a huge, huge setback. Wesley Crusher says, your eyes look like they are holding back a deep sadness. Is everything okay? Well, Wesley, I'm bloody fine. It's Thursday. I've just finished for the Easter holidays. The sadness in these eyes is the fact that I have to respond to absolute knobheads like Sam Pilger, who's writing absolute nonsense in the mainstream media. I have the horrible job of bringing this to you. Maybe you wouldn't have even read that, but I just want to make you open your eyes. Maybe I need to open my sad eyes. Do I look sad? I don't know. Wilson Pereira. Love that name. Member for 18 months. Fair play to you, mate. Says Ineos might have made a decision if it's Erik Ten Hag's positive. Speak and nip it in the bud. Big up, Kevs. Love your standalone shows. 100% finger in the like button. I never even said that earlier. So if you are new to the Thursday night show, obviously Kev gets a bit of a run out. This is a bit like being called up for the national team, you know. I'm getting a bit of, this is like Kobbie Mainoo, you know, playing for England this week when Kev is in the studio on his own. I do miss the gang, but you know, it is what it is, and I do enjoy it. Massive Massive shout out to Mojo, who has just gifted 20 The United Stand memberships. That's what a man, Mojo. Could be a woman, don't know. Thank you very much for that. Ants James TV says, Kev the Red, loving the videos. We need to back Ten Hag in. Yeah, and like I said before, just remembered, if you're new to the Thursday night show, make sure to finger that like button. I know it sounds so wrong. I know some of you will be, kind of watching this now. Maybe somebody is smiling and maybe somebody's looking and thinking, I like that. And maybe they will drop the finger down on the like button. But I think I've been told I need to get to 1,000 likes. Otherwise, I'll never be here on a Thursday night again. So do you think? I think we've cleared up on all... Oh, no, Gerard's just come in and says, my missus was out for a jog and a man in a van with a United shirt was beeping his horn. Behave, Kev. It was not me. I'm telling you now, I have got witnesses. I've got producer Greg out there. He can vouch for the time I arrived at the studio. And obviously everything is logged on YouTube, etc. time that I started. So it must have been some other weirdo. I've just called myself a weirdo. So... putting myself down here, but like I say, it is Easter weekend. I'm going to get into the next story, and I did mention at the start, we have now cleared up Sam Pilger and the lazy journalism. I've like I said, no praise for Mainoo and Garnacho coming through, the signing of Højlund, anything. It's just pure negativity from that man, but that's it. I've had my say on him, but I need your input on the next one. And I know this is something that Mark briefly mentioned in his show last night, but this is a story that will not go away. And I think as far as Mason Greenwood is concerned, I know Mark said the same thing last night about running a poll and would you bring him back and that. I think the time has come where Manchester United certainly need to cash in on Mason Greenwood. I think we look at the fact that he is a homegrown talent and that money could go to better use. Saying that, absolutely gutted in a sense, because I think Greenwood as a footballer and for what he did at Manchester United, so much promise. I'd never seen anything left foot, right foot since the days of probably a Ronaldo or a Robin van Persie at Manchester United, where they would hit a ball with a left or right foot and you would not know what their strongest foot was. But in respect to what has happened off the field, some people will say, he deserves a second chance. That is not really for me to comment on. I think that is purely for Manchester United to make a decision on whether Ineos look at the footballing side of things, offer an olive branch, whether Greenwood does some kind of interview which tries to clear up things. I don't know how it works, but there is a story which involves Greenwood potentially going to Juventus, which would see Bremer come to Manchester United as part of the deal. Now, Bremer is a 27-year-old Brazilian, which probably, in the sense of getting away from the Greenwood kind of thing, opens up the question, what does this mean for Rafael Varane at Manchester United? Because if United are looking at bringing in Bremer from Juventus, who has had a fantastic season, they're bringing in a player who is 27 years old. So again, a centre-back can play on into the mid-30s, not a problem if you are very, very good at reading the game. But what did he say? Two's a party, three's a crowd. You would think that Martinez and Varane were without a shadow of a doubt, the mainstay, the backbone, the spine of Manchester United. And Harry Maguire will be a bit part player. Lindelof, it's up to Lindelof whether he looks at it and thinks, I can get game time elsewhere. What's your ambition? What's your ambition, son? Do you want to sit on the bench at Manchester United at this age? But Bremer is an interesting one because I did read on the fee. Now, it does say that he's got a €65 million release fee. So you would think in terms of, you offer the €65 million, jobs are good and Bob's your uncle, whatever, you've signed the player. You've got him through the door. But the one I heard the other day was that Manchester United was set to offer Juventus 50 million plus Greenwood. And I'm like, What are we valuing Mason Greenwood at here? And I know he comes with a bit of baggage, bit of bad press, but you're looking at what? If there is a fee there, a release fee that the club can do nothing about once you activate that, you can talk to the player, then it seems like we're going to have our pants had down. And I thought we'd got away from this. I understand that the Mason Greenwood one is a bit of a tricky situation, but I can't see United being that daft and that... I can't just see them giving up that easy, because you are going to have your pants pulled down. You don't want to give a player away like that. And a lot of people will say, well, what is Mason Greenwood's, current value? I think it would have been a lot higher. But when you take into consideration what's happened, United should be looking for no less than 40 million for Mason Greenwood. Whoever takes Mason Greenwood is getting an absolute top draw talent. There's talk of Barcelona being after him. Now Juventus are after him. These are not small clubs. They can just sense an opportunity that they can come in at Manchester United, and maybe they are sensing that and thinking, we'll test the water. Let's throw in 15, 20 million. We'll take him off your hands. Well, I'm sorry, but it doesn't work like that. United need to dig the heels in here big time. Obviously, it will come down to what Mason Greenwood wants to do. Personally, if the Barcelona opportunity comes up, personally, from my point of view, I'd be like, yeah, I'm all over that. Certainly, I'm all over it. Let's just see. I'm just going to have a quick look into the super chats. Let's have a look. No, we're all up to date. I'm just making sure we are up to date. I'll just have a look into the live chat. Yeah, we are fine there. The United Stand Ultras all in there. That's great to see. But Mason Greenwood, yeah, get it into the chat. I mean, Bremer, is that one that you would be looking at and thinking, yeah, I think that would be good business for Manchester United. We get in a centre-back, like I say before. It probably tells you, I mean, if this is true, more about, I think, Varane's future and where that lies. I mean, possibly, I would be thinking that Varane's future is elsewhere at United. I think it's been well documented as well that United, these are the kind of players now, the ones that are maybe coming into the 30s, the ones that are on mega money, the likes of Casemiro, that United under Ineos now will look to address and maybe look to move on. One little comment I wanted to say, I did mention at the start that Wes Brown has said that he would like to see more of a certain Manchester United player, more game time, says big Wes Brown. Let me just find the article, and here we go. So Wes Brown talking about, like I said before, Diallo Day will always be remembered as that. Don't you forget it. The Scousers will never forget it. Wes Brown talking about Diallo said, he's so sharp. He's like a little whippet. And they are sharp because I actually have a whippet. That is my dog, little Sally. He said the energy that he brings when he comes on makes me want to see a lot more of him on the pitch. The way he tracked back and defended 2 against Liverpool in those big moments was really impressive. And then he goes and scores the winner. As a fan, he's what you want to see, especially from such a young player, and I'm hoping we see a lot more of him. The energy and quality he can bring to the field in a game of high emotions and pressure against United's biggest rivals, it's such a big achievement for a player of his age. It's exactly what you want to see from the youth players coming through. He's big, he's bad, he's Wesley Brown, the hardest man in all the town. Yes, that was the Wes Brown song, if anyone just thinks that I've lost the plot for a moment. But I think that's it's quite funny and fitting in a way, because obviously we will take a brief look at the end of the show, Brentford against Manchester United. But Wes Brown coming out with these comments. Has anybody told him that he's actually suspended against Brentford because he took his shirt off, which is really, really harsh. And maybe that is a conversation for another day, but that is one thing that really boils my blood, is the fact that the referee, I know that they have to look at these circumstances, and the referee will say, well, that lot back at Thingy Park are watching me, and if I don't send him off, I'm going to get into trouble. Use your head, man. He's just scored a winner. You know, a 4-3 winner in extra time, the last kick of the game against our biggest rivals. And he got lost in the moment that much. He'd actually forgot that he'd been booked previously. Do you know what I mean? And he's there waving his shirt and that. But do you know what? It was probably worth it. But wise words from Wes Brown. I think it's something that we have said on the fan forum so many times, because we've said it so many times, because to an extent, when you're on a fan forum after every game and you're banging your head against the wall and you are wondering why the likes of Anthony are getting game time week in, week out, to do probably with the 90 million kind of fee that, you know, Ten Hag invested in him. You know, he's my guy, Ten Hag, you know, Ten Hag and Anthony have that thing. But Diallo, I've said it before, I know a few Sunderland fans, and when he was on loan at Sunderland, bit the same when Johnny Evans went on loan to Sunderland all them years ago. And even when they come back to Manchester United, the Sunderland fans, when we played and Johnny Evans was back at United, used to sing, Johnny Evans, he's one of our own. They absolutely adored Johnny Evans, probably more than producer Ryan. But the same thing applies to Diallo, because he had such an incredible campaign for Sunderland in the Championship, week in, week out. And it has been a source of frustration, I would say, especially on a fan forum. And I think between Manchester United fans that have looked and thought, why is this lad getting no game time? You know, what has he done? A bit similar to when Wilfried Zaha was at United. And under David Moyes, I know there was all kinds of rumours, but we were kind of looking then and we were like, why is he not getting a chance? Why is this lad not getting a chance in the team? You know, what's the worst that could happen? And I think Diallo, although we don't want to base it on one game, which was the Liverpool game, a great, fantastic cameo, all he can do is come on the pitch and do the business, you know. And that's exactly what he did. What a statement to send out. Now, although he takes the second booking and gets sent off, which rules him out against Brentford, it obviously does beg the question, would he have started against Brentford? And that decision now has been taken out of Ten Hag's hands. But I think if Diallo would have been available for this Brentford fixture, there's no doubt in my mind that he would have been in contention for a start. I think the fans would have wanted to see it, and I don't think Erik Ten Hag could have held him back anymore. You know, a bit similar to Gareth Southgate with Kobbie Mainoo, which is, I think we'll move. Let's move the conversation on slightly, because I did want to hail what has been just a groundbreaking week for Kobbie Mainoo and Man United fans in general. It has been this kind of, it has been kind of a secret, Kobbie Mainoo, even though he's getting the headlines now. Any United fan, me, you, we're watching him every week. You know, City fans aren't, Liverpool fans aren't, mainly just because they're knobheads, yeah. Had to get that one in. But they're not watching Mainoo every day. They'll watch him when they play. Well, when we play Man City, and the other week, you know, Liverpool fans got the stark glimpse. You know, they were trapped, the rabbits in the headlights. You know, Kobbie Mainoo like turned into prime, I don't know, like Paul Pogba or something, the tricks. And I was like, wow. You know, didn't know he had them skills within him, but gracefully, like a ballerina, just like working around the pitch. And I'm like, can he get any better? Of course he will get better. But at the same time, I wanted to honour, you know, I wouldn't say I'm the leader of the Kobbie Mainoo Appreciation Society, but I'd like to say that I'm one of the founding members. And a lot of people, I get messages all the time. One main message I got when he started breaking into the team after he come back from injury was, you know, Kev, don't hype him up. Let the kid flourish. You know, we don't need another, I don't know, you know, we have had players in the past at Manchester United where you kind of build them up. And I'll give you a classic, whoa, the voice went high then. A classic example was Adnan Januzaj at Manchester United. I remember my mate I won't mention his name, Dean, come into the pub, if you're watching, mate. Come into the pub one time after witnessing an Adnan Januzaj masterclass, can't remember who it was against, might have been Sunderland actually, comes into the pub and tells us all he's just seen the next Lionel Messi, you know, and I'm like, whoa, Dean, you know, put the Stella down, sunshine, you know, how many of them did you have at the game? Because I'm like, that to me, is hyping up a player far too much when you've not seen him, which is, I don't want to make comparisons with Mainoo at this moment in time. I can see glimpses of other players in him and the way that he conducts himself on the pitch, but I've got no doubt that Mainoo, the main thing for me is that he's a Manchester lad, and I cling on to that because this lad could be at Manchester United for the next 15 years. This could be the player that we actually build our team around. So I think it was so fitting that the last time I did the Thursday night show, I'm sat here, and the one thing I was telling you lot out there was, how the hell has Gareth Southgate left out Mainoo after the way he's been performing? And I read you the quotes out. I said that Gareth Southgate had come out and he'd said, the kid's only young, you know, he's not played that much football and didn't want to hype him up. Now, all of a sudden, after a masterclass, and it was from Mainoo against Liverpool, oh, what's changed your idea, Gareth? Hey, what changed your idea? I think the fact that that was such a high-profile game against Liverpool, and the eyes, all the eyes of the world were on this game, and it did live up to be an absolute classic. But Gareth Southgate could not have ignored the performance that Kobbie Mainoo put in. So in that sense, he backtracked, you know, beep, beep, beep. He was reversing big time and calls him up instantly. You know, he's not in the under-21s. He's fast-tracked, and he's been fast-tracked because he's that good. A great cameo against Brazil, which was an absolute joy to see. You know, it was great for him, great for his family. But then to start against Belgium, and I know these are only friendlies, but these are international players. It's a different ball game. But the thing about great players, their game is made so much easier playing with better players around them. And look at the players, you know, that Kobbie Mainoo had around him, and the England team as a whole. He slips in there, you know, he's in there, he's doing his thing, and he's unbelievable. Again, I think we're at the point where you can start to hype him up. You know, obviously we wouldn't want him to get another injury or some kind of injury setback, because he's just been pivotal to everything that has been so positive at Manchester United this season. He is the one shining light, the diamond in the rough. So if I had a hat on, I would take it off. But man of the match against Belgium, you know, it's a proud moment. And I mentioned before about him being a Manchester lad. I say that because the fear is, if he was, we hear these rumours at the minute about Garnacho, which are part and parcel of the game. We had it with Ronaldo. You know, his dream was always to play for Real Madrid. You've got Kobbie Mainoo, and the main thing for me, Manchester lad, and also has only ever wanted to play for Manchester United. So I might be wrong, but I don't see that anywhere down the line that he would be looking at a path other than the path to Old Trafford. I don't see him being that player that I want to go and give it a try at Barcelona or a Real Madrid, because he's almost institutionalised. What a big word that was at Manchester United. He's come up through the youth academy, and he gets it. You know, he's a bit like Marcus Rashford at United. Some fans will tell you, I think it's the end of the line for him. You know, maybe it's best if he moves on. But I think in Mainoo, the future is bright. The future is Mainoo. I'd made some other notes here. What else was I going to say? I was just going to say, but obviously praising Mainoo. He's had Alan Shearer, even the likes of Jamie Carragher. Even Carragher has come out and praised him this week. And if you get praised as a silly Scouse knobhead like Carragher, then you're doing something very, very right. So Mainoo can take that. Rio Ferdinand has also praised him. I had wrote here in my notes, does Kobbie Mainoo deserve a new contract. I think, I mean, I had wrote overhyped ? And I think there is this tendency to overhype players, but in this instance, any of us that are watching week in, week out what Kobbie Mainoo is doing for United understands just how much of a special talent he is. And long may it continue, because like I said earlier, he could be in the United team for the next 15 years. And I'm there, I'm all there for it. I'm just going to check into the chat very quickly what everybody is saying. But get in your thoughts on Kobbie Mainoo. I can't see there being any negatives. I really can't. And like I said, I was playing slightly devil's advocate with the kind of wording of overhyped, because I don't think he is being overhyped. Let's just have a look. The Gay United fan first says Sancho got rid of Sancho. CR7 got rid of CR7. Nobody else. London 19657 says, great show, Kev. Thank you very much. Somebody's saying, Paul, shall we... what should we do? Right, in fact, I'm hoping this will be a landslide, and hopefully you won't let me down on this one. Hopefully producer Greg can hear me, but I do understand. In fact, let's just get it out there. Kobbie Mainoo overhyped, yes or no? Now, if you say overhyped, which some of you might do, there might be some rival fans in there that are just, you know, like being that little gremlin in the system. If you are there, then please step away. But, you know, are we overhyping him? Has he been too much overhyped? We'll just put Kobbie Mainoo overhyped or no. If we can throw that into the chat and get that one going. We'll run it for a couple of minutes. There we go. Good work, producer Greg. Mainoo overhyped, yes or hell no. If you're saying yes, I totally get where you're coming from, because you could be going down this way of saying we are in danger of overhyping him, and all these things will come. You know, the Nando's black card, you know, the sponsorship deals, you know, the fancy cars and that. But I don't see that with Mainoo. I said the other week, you know, he doesn't strike me as the Memphis Depay kind of rolling into Carrington in his pink Rolls Royce with the cowboy hat on, getting an absolute earful from Wayne Rooney, which is exactly what happened to Memphis Depay before he'd even made it at Manchester United. Linda says, Cyril says, hell no. Nope, he's the future, says Jason Day. It's great to get your interaction. As we always say on the United Stand, it's a fantastic community, but it is absolutely nothing without you. I always say, you know, without you lot here now, I'm talking into a camera and I'd have no feedback. I've got nothing to work with. You know, come on, man. Like Terry Tibbs would say, give me something to work with. Well, let's see what... Menji says, Kev, I think Mainoo is one of the best drivers that comes through the academy for a while. One of the best drivers. What do you think? Do you mean driving forward with the ball or driving the Rolls Royce? I think he must mean driving with the ball. And I think that's something in the earlier days I hadn't actually seen in Kobbie Mainoo. I think we were trying to discover, is he the next in line to the Casemiro kind of throne at United? But he can play that. He's capable of sitting in there. But I'm more interested now because I'm seeing that fancy footwork, which was clearly evident when I went a couple of years ago, the Youth Cup final against Nottingham Forest, which Garnacho grabbed the goals. He got the headlines, and rightly so. But I remember at the time being sat with my son Georgie, and I'm like, who's that lad in the middle? Just so calm and composed. And like, that's a couple of years ago. That it was at Old Trafford. You know, a brilliant crowd there for the Youth Cup final. And I remember coming away that evening and thinking, you know, it just gives you hope for the future. Because at that stage on the field, it was shit. You know, you go to Old Trafford, again, you didn't know what you were getting, and you get lost. You pay millions and millions of pounds for these egotistical kind of, you know, people that are coming in, couldn't even give a shit about United. They don't care if they win, lose or draw. You know, it's all about social media. Look at me in my hot tub. Look at the new car that I bought. Look at the diamond earrings. Look at the new tattoos. And there's just something very, very refreshing about Kobbie Mainoo. The background that he's from, a church kind of background, humble beginnings. And, you know, it's a bit like, what's it called? N'Golo Kante, when he was at Chelsea, used to pull into the training ground. He drove a Mini. All the other Chelsea players used to laugh at him every day. What's wrong with that? You know, I think N'Golo Kante used to say, it's a great car. It's all I need. You know, it's nippy. It gets me from A to B. Not asked. You know, the rest of them, Bugatti Veyrons, Lamborghinis, giving it the big one. Some people are just happy and content. You know, they're only, what do you call it? They're only objects. And, you know, does it make you any happier? Don't get me wrong. I'd have great fun driving a Lamborghini around the streets of Manchester. But, you know, it comes to a point and you'd say, you know, enough's enough. Give me the Mini. Get the Mini out. It's more practical. Never mind them doors that open and hit the roof and all that. They need to open out. It's ridiculous, man. You know, and they're always sprayed like mad colours, like Illuminous yellow or green or whatever. Art and Travel by J Wave says, Kevin should do stand-up comedy. Cheeky bastard. You being sarcastic there or what? Oh, somebody said they agree Kevin should do stand-up comedy. All right. Everybody's digging it. You never gauge it from here, do you know what I mean? I'm kind of just looking at a screen of messages and just doing my thing. But make sure you get in here. I'm going to let it run a little bit longer. We've got 709 votes. I've not even seen what the likes are on this video, but I did tell you earlier on, if you don't finger that like button, I think it's 1,000, I've been told. If I don't get 1,000 tonight, I'm getting binned off the United Stand. Breaking news. You know, they're absolutely ruthless here. They don't mess about. It's all about the likes. Just do it for Kev. Do it for me, yeah? Kev Army. Lots of laughing emojis. Don't even know. People probably just laughing at me. Good to see Kev, Neil says. Right, I've given you another little chance here. It's gone up to nearly 800 votes here. Kobbie Mainoo, overhyped. If some of you have said yes, I fully get it, and probably, there you go, the United Stand have just confirmed that the P45 will be in the post. So this is the last time you will ever see Kev on a Thursday night show. It's been absolutely mint, absolutely loved it. But tribunal, and that's what I need you as my witnesses. I'm taking you all with me. I think it's incredibly, incredibly harsh that Kev should be, you know, sacked off in this way. It's, what a horrible thing. Right, producer Greg, end that vote, Sunshine. And let's see if the United Stand community think that Kobbie Mainoo is... Hell no! 87% of the vote are saying hell no, but 12% are saying that Kobbie Mainoo is overhyped. And in that, I will give you a bit of leeway, a bit of leverage, as they say. I don't know anyone that's ever said that, but yeah, hell no. It seems very strong. We would say that's a landslide here on the United Stand. But the 12% that are saying yes, maybe they have a point. Maybe they're just looking and saying, you know, I've seen it before. Maybe they're saying, Kev, I heard you before on about, what's his name? Adnan Januzaj, the next Lionel Messi, you know, the next Lionel Messi, my arse, as Jim Royal would say. I'm just going to delve in to the super chats and make sure that I've missed absolutely nothing there. Let's have a look. Wilson Pereira was the last one in there. Oh, here we go. Jim's 91 says, Mainoo is just getting started. Just watch. Star. Love that. In fact, I would go as far as to say that is the comment of the evening. And like, I did want to dedicate a good bit of this section because the start of it was Sam Pilger and his piece on, you know, Erik Ten Hag's job being under threat at Manchester United. We've sifted through the shit like pigs do, and we're now at the point where we can at least start to relax because it is the start of the Easter holidays, but we need the positivity. And Kobbie Mainoo, what a week. But yeah, Jim's 91 saying Mainoo is just getting started. That is a Sam Fender song, which Kev absolutely digs. I'm only getting started. Just watch star. Lee Berman gifted one the United Stand membership. So I'm 100% sure what that means, but just get in there, do your thing and do whatever. Listen, I had, let me just check. There is a lot of love in the comment section, even considering that Kev is getting sacked in the morning. The P45 will come through, but at least I will have the Easter weekend. I'll just ask producer Greg very quickly, do we know who's on in the morning? So I can let the United Stand community know. All right, so you have Mr. Goldbridge back in tomorrow, and he did actually message me last night and said that he would be watching this evening, which puts absolutely no pressure at all on Kev for the Thursday night show. But I did watch him towards the end of the stream last night. If anybody knows, I just wanted to say I thought it was very, very big of him to reach out in the way that he did reach out. He built an absolutely insane community and platform here at the Manchester United Stand, at the United Stand, which is great. You know, I'm honoured to be part of it until the stream ends, and then I won't be part of it anymore. But no, it is great, and I thought the way he opened up and, you know, saying about struggles. I think if there's anything, it's great that in this day and age, even people like Tyson Fury opening up about mental health, and, you know, don't bottle it up. You know, tell somebody, talk to somebody. It is such a huge thing. It's something that I have struggled with in the past, I won't lie to you, so it was quite refreshing to know that, you know, other people open up about this. But yes, we have come towards the end of the Thursday night show. What did you make of that? Soybridge, where you at, says man it on the super chat. I'm just going to try and gauge the end of the chat. I'm going to wrap up very shortly. It's very, very emotional, Kev. Kev the GOAT, big up Kev, says Junior Films. Thank you very much to all the moderators. I did forget to say at the start, you know, don't be mean, keep it clean. In the comment section, I mean, the moderators. And is that Mr. Goldbridge in the chat? The United Stand has gifted 10 the United Stand memberships. Everybody feeling the love. Them 10 memberships have purely been gifted because it's Easter weekend. I can't wait to get into it. You've got Mark on the morning show tomorrow. Not sure how the rest of the day pans out, but enjoy your Easter weekend. And on Saturday, it's the end of international football, as I call it, not football, football, especially when it's friendlies. But Kobbie Mainoo made it certainly interesting from a United perspective, seeing him, you know, just rising like a giant and getting a man of the match against Belgium. Absolutely fantastic. I just wanted every badges in the chat. Get your badge in. Kev Thursday night special, legend. Loving the love in the comments. Fair play to Goldbridge gifting the 10 memberships. Great work from Greg in the back, running the poll and all that. Absolutely loved that. But Saturday is game day. I did want to run through the Brentford game, but I've run out of time. I really have. And it just goes to show that time flies when you're having fun. Or should we have another couple of minutes? Let's see what the chat say. Yo. If one person says no, I'm going. In fact, if it's going to be my last United Stand show ever, we might as well just keep rolling for another few minutes. I'll have a look. I've touched on Kobbie Mainoo. Let's do a recap. What have we learnt this evening? We've learnt that Sam Pilger is an absolute bellend for writing a piece on Erik Ten Hag's position remaining under serious threats of Manchester United. So, as I would say on Father's Head, down with that kind of thing, that negativity. The Greenwood situation, Bremer, obviously, you know, the swap deal, Wes Brown. What a week for Kobbie Mainoo. That was the title of the thing I wanted to get through. I'm going to save some of these things, I think, because if we go to the tribunal and I get reinstated at the United Stand, then I've got a bit of ammunition, because I wanted to touch on Dennis Irwin not getting in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, Ashley Cole was included. You know, Dennis Irwin, who's won 7 Premier League titles at Manchester United. And I'd even wrote down, you know, that he's made 328 appearances. What was it? Scoring 18 goals, 25 assists, 123 clean sheets. Dennis Irwin at Manchester United. I think it's an absolute joke that somebody like Ashley Cole got in front of Dennis Irwin. Dennis Irwin, if anyone remembers Dennis Irwin, a lot of the younger ones will be watching, going, Dennis who? Dennis who? Oh, I tell you, Dennis Irwin. Eh? Penalty, sorry, Greg's in me area. He's saying the penalty. He was the penalty king. He was also a master of free kicks. You know, you Google United against Liverpool at Anfield. Oh, Dennis Irwin, what he was referred to, and this was the days before the United Stand and social media. You only really had the Manchester Evening News. You know, nothing online. You had to actually go to a shop and buy it. What a time to be alive. Put the, under your arm, walk back from, it was effort, man. You had to go back to a newsagent's, talk to people, hand money over, actual money, get a newspaper, come back, flick it open. Dennis Irwin, every single week, minimum got a 7 in the evening news, and that's why he was always Mr. Reliable. I think it's a real shame, and I think Dennis Irwin hasn't got or been inducted into the Hall of Fame, basically because I don't see him as being a big name. You look at the other names that have gone in there, which all credit where credit's due. The likes of Alan Shearer, Thierry Henry, United players is Eric Cantona, Roy Keane, David Beckham, which is fair enough, man. And Dennis Bergkamp, Frank Lampard, Gerrard, I've got no issue with that. But I do look at it, and I honestly, I know that the Irish fans will be up in arms about that one. Dennis Irwin, what an absolute legend. 7, people forget that. 7 Premier League titles at Manchester United. Won the treble. I think some people forget that. He was involved in that squad, in that team, at that famous night at the Nou Camp against Barcelona. Beckham into Sheringham. And Solskjaer has won it. Yeah, he was part of that as well, and gets overlooked for Ashley Cole. I don't know. I think I will save some of that thing. I had the Brentford away section. I'm just going to double check back in, like I say. We might as well end on a high here, aren't we? Why not? Where are we? Very hard dealing with all this. I'm not very tech savvy, you know what I mean? There we go. I do surprise myself sometimes, pulled an absolute blinder out there. Alex King, a member for 5 months, says ETH in, and we all know that means Erik Ten Hag. And that's how we want to end the video, pure positivity. Joseph M. Elas says, why are you here, MG? Go and take a rest. Kevin has got this one. I have. And he did message me last night. I told him, I said, Goldbridge, you need to recharge the batteries. And he said, I will tomorrow night while I'm watching you. And I thought, well, that's not recharging the batteries. If anything, I know what he's doing. He's keeping an eye on Kev and he's thinking, what's going on? But it doesn't matter now. Been sacked anyway. So Ashley Weir, thank you very much for the super chat, says, no gigs either, Kev. Should have been one of the first. It is. And honestly, I'll be the first down, wherever this Hall of Fame is. If Giggs is not inducted into this Hall of Fame at some stage, he should have been one of the first. I know what it is. It's because a lot of people think that this Premier League era, like football never existed before it. You know, and I know it is the Premier League Hall of Fame, but to look past a Ryan Giggs, which, he has been there from the start of the Premier League, from the moment it was set up. He played till he was, 40 years old? Absolute legend, man. No gigs yet, just read that one. Jims91 says, 1.1k and Kev is getting promoted to United Stand CEO. I hope you're not pulling the wool over my eyes. I've not actually clicked on to see if it is 1.k1 likes, but I'll take your word for it. And oh, it is. I've just been told in the ear, yes. Kev fights to live another day here on the United Stand, and the people have spoken. You know, it is a democracy. I've always said the United Stand, the viewers are the people that make it, and I love every single one of you. Patrick Mellett says, big up Kev, your hero. You're just whatever the hell that means. But, right. Oh, does it? Right, up the what? Oh, up the effing Reds and up the United Stand. I like that. See, I don't usually do this. It'd be either Beth or somebody else or Mark. They'd know this, but at least now we've got that connection. You know, the United Stand Ultras are all in the comment section. I'm like the head of the Ultras. So, yeah, I'm with that. Up the effing Reds and up the United Stand. What a way to finish a video. Mark is back tomorrow. Thank you to all the moderators. Thank you to all the super chats. Thanks for the interaction, the comments. You've really, really made it enjoyable, and you've made it very easy for me to fire subjects out at you, and it's just great to get your opinion. But I will leave you now. It is Easter weekend. Enjoy it if you're off. If you're not, then hard luck. But you've saved me by the skin of your teeth, so fair play to every single one of you. 1.1k likes. Kev fights to live another day, but it's time for that funny wave as I pass out and say, you've been watching the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This was the United Stand. Bye-bye.